Welcome, Daddy, to the Fluffy Podcast. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for embracing chatting with me with no direction, and thank you for being as cool as you are. We're matching today because we're best friends, so I thought it was only fitting. Dad, I wanted to talk to you about my Cape Town guilt by leaving you because we're so close. And I think this podcast is a way for me to stay a little bit attached to you so I can watch it back whenever I want. But I have immense guilt being in Cape Town and knowing that we have such a strong bond and you're here, and I don't like living life so far away from you, but I also don't like living life in Pretoria, so it's a bit of a catch-22.
So what's the guilt? Should I move to Cape Town?
You need to move to Cape Town. That would be ideal. Do you want to move to Cape Town?
They haven't got enough wine for me there.
They've got more than enough wine for you there. I think I struggle a lot being there, knowing how cool my family is here. And as much as I love life in Cape Town, it is difficult getting older without being around my family, because obviously I want to share all of these memories with you guys and I hate missing out on them. But then again, I don't feel like there's much here for me in Pretoria, or not necessarily just that. I love Cape Town as well, so it's hard for me to not feel guilty being where I am, wanting to be there but being away from you guys.
But that's a phase, you know. I mean, Cape Town, I like Cape Town, but it's a youthful phase that you're going through.
So you think that me staying in Cape Town is just a phase?
Well, I don't necessarily say that, but if you were married and you got children and you got serious work, you're engulfed by the people around you, and the place where you live was not necessarily that dominant. But when you a free agent and you're out to enjoy life and whatever, you go where the environment takes you.
So what happens
and
if I have kids one day?
The environment doesn't have anything for you here.
I made a couple notes here, but not many. I wanted this to be like organic and just chat. But
off the cuff, you mean?
Yes. Unprepared. I am very much an airhead, and I think that I owe a lot of that to you. I think I was the spiritual guinea pig baby where you taught me about guardian angels and clairvoyance and aliens and thinking outside of the box, which I love, because who would I be if I wasn't that person?
But I also taught you that the more you find out about those things, the more frightened or scared you'll be.
No, not necessarily. I think
when you discover how little we know.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I guess with like spirits and stuff, you always made me feel very comfortable and at ease, knowing that they are, I don't know, positive beings. And only when I got older, you told me that some whack shit had happened, that you hid from me. But you always made me feel like life is not out to get me. Life is kind of like
to go and get.
Yeah. And that's why I wasn't really scared of much growing up. I think when I got older and became a young adult, I realized how scary life is when your parents aren't guarding you.
But you are prepared.
Yeah, I guess.
You are prepared. And I've always got spirits with me.
What, here at the bar? Yeah. You have them in both.
I don't
both
use
forms.
them much.
Yeah, you're not much of a drinker.
No, you wouldn't believe that.
You're a hoster.
Yes, more of a hoster than a drinker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I drink red wine and brandy and Coke.
Yes.
And that's me.
That's you. That's a wrap.
That's me, yes.
So where did you get your open-mindedness from? Because Grandpa and Granny were quite old school in terms of their, well, what I know, in terms of their beliefs and stuff.
Yeah.
Was it the Red Indian story that...
No, that only came later in life, but Granny was one of a twin, and she had an incredible bond with her twin.
Mm-hmm.
And
they used to communicate.
And as you know, the stories they would send each other. My aunt lived in Zimbabwe, and my mom here, Granny was here, and they used to exchange presents, and they would exchange exactly the same thing without having spoken to each other, which is quite uncanny.
And Granny said they used to chat telepathically.
Yeah, well, I think, from her Scottish background and her grandmother, used to tell her all the stories of Robbie Burns.
Mm-hmm. Robbie Burns.
And a lot of them were spooky stories. So I think she was aware that those things existed, but my mother was very, very religious. So she never wanted to acknowledge a different spiritual level. So
where did you come in? Were you the Courtney child of the family?
No.
What was your first experience of not seeing a religious life, like if that's how you were raised?
No. I was brought up in a very, very religious home. I believe in spirituality, but not in this falsehood.
The man-made spirituality.
Look at all the wars in the world created by that.
Mm-hmm. And the obsession of being right.
So it cannot be true. But spirituality there is. My parents were, how can I say, free thinkers in that they would let you and let your brain, let your mind take you where you want to go.
Yeah.
And not try and dominate.
But it was more of an image thing to the community to make sure everyone was...
Well, I mean, when you go through that confirmation process, they expose you to all sorts of religious things and whatever. And that's when I looked at this and said, hang on a moment, all this good living and Christian living and all that kind of stuff, that's all good and wholesome. But what you guys are coming up with now, that's all cuck.
The rules and regulations.
No, not so much rules and regulations, but I mean the falsehoods, So I said, hang on, no, I don't go along with that. So either I've got to go with a different religion because I don't believe this, or I've got to think a little bit further. And then I parked it. I didn't do anything. And then as a young musician, I think I played my first bands when I was probably 19, 20, somewhere around there. And I still remember the venue. It was at Harlequins Club in Pretoria. It was a fundraising ball or dance or whatever you call it for the Harlequins ladies hockey team who wanted to go overseas. And so it was a huge, huge event. And this person kept on coming up to me and saying, I want to speak to you. And I just brushed it off. And then I can't remember the details, whether it was during a break or after we had actually finished. But this person came to me and said, I'm sorry, but I have to talk to you. I said, why do you have to talk to me? And he says, because you are glowing so radically that you are brought to my attention for an obvious reason. I said, what are you talking about? He says, no. He says, your aura is shining so brightly. You're sticking out a mile. So I said, what's an aura? So then he explained to me what the aura was, and And then he told me all sorts of weird things, and I thought he was just a weirdo.
Like your guardian angel is a red Indian.
Yes, he said, your guardian agent's with you. He's a red Indian. I said, what do you mean a red Indian? He said, no, he's an old man. He's got long grey hair. Don't worry, he's looking after you.
Yeah.
And he'll always look after you. And I can see him. He's there. And he told me that. And the other thing he told me was that I've got healing hands.
Yes, I remember. Which you do.
And I thought, well, that's rather strange. I'm a musician, so...
But you can heal with music too.
But the funny thing is that same occurrence happened to me
multiple times.
On other occasions where people said, oh, your aura is shining, and did you know this, and did you know that? And then I thought, hang on, it's rather strange that these people are saying the same thing. This is totally different cities, towns, different environments. How can these people give me all this kind of nonsense? So then I realized that there must be something else. And then I started speaking to a couple of friends and asking around. Most people would poo-hoo it and laugh it off. But when you get to the guys who are connected, they would look at you and say, do you know about it?
Yeah, you know.
And I said, no, I don't know about it, but tell me about it. Why do you want to know? Then I tell them that, then they would smile and say, yes, yeah, or kind of welcome to the world. And then depending on where they are and at what level they are of understanding, they give you more information. And there are a lot of books you can read, and I think I've still got the books here, which I've never read.
You're not a reader, but you like to look at the books. I read them for you.
In spirit, they're there.
Yeah. So what do you believe? What are you tied to a religion? Because I don't know if I am. I think I like to think that I live in like I live almost in terms of Buddhist mentality. I believe in karma and reincarnation and all of that, but I don't think I can call myself a Buddhist because I'm not practicing act of service.
Yeah,
I'm not devoting my time to meditation. But so I can't say I'm agnostic either because I don't know. I don't like to fit into a bracket as well.
I'm definitely agnostic.
You're agnostic.
I'm definitely agnostic.
So you believe that there's a higher power. It's just. The audio cut out, the video cut out. We had a time limit on the video, so we lost a whole bunch of goodness, and now I have to navigate us back to that direction.
So I was talking about Cape Town being a youthful phase.
Yeah.
Cape Townians are so different.
They take life less seriously.
Maybe they've got a better balance in life. I don't know. Everything in life is about balance. I taught you that. It's about balance and timing. Yeah, whether it's about a job or a growth period or a joke you're telling, it's all about balance and about timing. So we spoke about Cape Town. And then you moved on to spirituality from Cape Town. Because of all the hairy-fairy people that live in Cape Town.
Yes, well, me being airy-fairy, and I said that you're basically the reason I am such an airhead.
It's not the chains.
No, you aren't a product of your parents. You can always...
You are a lot of the product of your parents, but what direction they offer you and the direction that you take.
Yeah, is your choice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But it should not be... they should not be shackles that ground you.
Yeah, hold back a kid.
It's rather it's the vehicle that jets you forward into whatever direction you want to go.
Yeah. And then you were saying how I asked you how you became so spiritual, what your upbringing was.
I don't go along with the man-made spiritualism, but I'm a very, very spiritual person.
Yeah.
So
believing in different entities and dimensions and yeah.
So and as I said, I think religion is on the whole a good thing for
People that need
most
structure.
people who need structure. They
Yeah.
need a pillar to hold on.
It's a convenient, well, we certainly see it as that. It's
But
not
it-
necessarily like that for everyone. There are beautiful Christian people that
yes,
like,
no, of course, yes. But it's generally, most of the people are too weak spiritually to be able to understand.
and it's
the
easy to
difference
attach to a man
between
figure
right
in the
and
sky
wrong.
that's got all your responsibility. So you don't have to hold responsibility for your life.
Sure, yeah. So what does he say? No, he says I should go there. Okay, I'll go there.
Yeah.
The people don't understand for themselves that, hang on, this is right and that's wrong.
Yeah.
And therefore I think it's a good thing that most of the people are driven by this pole that they hang on to.
Well, it's like you said, there's different forms of consciousness, whether it's an ant or a, anyone. Like we're all on our own individual path to achieving enlightenment. Well, for us, that's what it seems like. And maybe they just learning different lessons in this lifetime that
And people, I think people are at different levels. So, like people are at different intellectual levels, and different people have different skills, and you've got different abilities. Sometimes because of the makeup of your brain, sometimes the makeup of your physicality, and most of the time, what you do with both the brain and your physicality, what you can do with it, and then depends on how willing you are to actually
explore it.
to explore it and to grow that skill. Like for you, for example, you are talented, and I think that probably comes from
You? No, I'm just
no,
kidding.
that's from I don't know if your grandmother was talented in that way at all. I think she might have been, but she suppressed.
Oh, well, clairvoyant.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
but I think she suppressed it.
Out of fear.
Yeah. For example, your sister, who's a teacher, who thinks your talent is total bullshit. She is. I've been told by clairvoyance that she's more talented than you.
I think
She suppresses it as well.
Yeah, I think all babies, I think everyone is born with these abilities. I think babies can see things and they're very in tune or enlightened because there is no judgment or stereotype at that phase. They can just be. And I think that it's fact, it's been proven that everyone's born with this ability. You can switch it on, mum can switch it on at any point. You can train yourself to be clairvoyant, even if you're a skeptic. But the fact is that society shapes you in a way that if you're different, or if you're airy-fairy, you're a witch or a devil, demon child like I was.
If you're anything against the
Great,
the
yeah,
norm.
yeah. If you're against the norm, and it's fear-based, So Siobhan might see something, but she'd rather not even entertain it because
Acknowledge
it's
it,
scary. It's scary, and just the fear of what if God saw that, or what if someone's noticed. It's fear-based, and I think for me, why I'm such an airhead is because you allowed me to fully explore that when I was little, that I have very little fear about what people think about me because I'm already such a freak, and that I've seen so much shit that I can't turn that off. So I have
don't
my
know.
mind made up, I don't
No,
need
I
someone
don't-
to tell
no,
me different.
I disagree with you. I think that you are too
Ooh,
concerned.
there goes Rafa. Woo!
I think you're too concerned with what people think of you.
No, I know, but I mean in terms of spirituality.
Okay, in terms of
Yeah,
spirituality.
I think when I was younger, I enjoyed having debates with Christians because they wanted to save me and whatever, and I enjoyed
So
that.
why
but
is it that you are of the beliefs that you have, and your sister has become a Catholic?
I would love to know. I ask you guys that all the time. I don't know. We are chalk and cheese. I don't know how we're so different. We are very, very different humans, and we came from the same parents. It's very interesting for me. But tell the story of how you first opened up to it.
When I was exposed.
Yes.
it became evident that the more I knew about it, I realized how little I know about it.
Yeah, how
And
much
how
we really don't
dangerous,
know.
and how dangerous it actually is. But I feel comfortable just to know that I'm aware that
Yeah.
there is
But why is it dangerous?
spirituality out there.
Why is information dangerous? Is it because you can like jump down the rabbit hole and get stuck in there?
Yeah, as I said earlier on, that everything in life is about timing and balance. So, I think if you get too engrossed in it,
You're obsessed.
and obsessed, yeah, I don't think that. Although there are a lot of people that have done it and do it, but I've been told that on many occasions what I do for a living. Like I've been told many times that are you a pastor? Now, for an agnostic person to be asked if you're a pastor,
Yes, it's hectic. It just shows how
It's-
wise you are.
it's the way you live. It's not the
Yeah, and it's your energy that you give off.
it's not the the rituals that are of public popularity that you have to follow. So you become aware of what other people are comfortable with, and you go with the flow. Like for example, we always say grace at night, and that doesn't have to be a religious thing.
No, it's more of a gratitude thing.
It's a gratitude. It's to the higher beings, that hang on, I've got another plate of food,
Yeah.
grubbing mine in front of me.
Family around us.
And it's just acknowledging those things.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a religious thing, but people turn it into a religious thing, obviously.
So was I a very interesting little girl with my experiences when I was little?
Well, you were troubled often by what you saw, but
This is very taboo because not many people actually know about me being a clairvoyant because, as you know, through my childhood, I kind of had to switch that off because people are scared of you. They think you're a demon or you're a Satanist or some shit. And
no, it's a talent, and the minute I realized that you were talented, I wanted to harness that and not scare you.
yeah,
And I wanted to make you sure that you understood that it was a good thing.
yeah,
that
you
could
did.
manage it.
You did.
So if you go into a room, for example, still to this day, you can go there and you will see all the stars and everything glowing on your roof. They're still there.
I know.
So I don't know if you actually checked them out last night.
I did. It was so bright. I showed Ronnie it. It was
Did you?
crazy. Yeah, I love them.
So that's to open your eyes and to close the door of the day of what's happened on earth and say, this is me, and what I'm in part of this huge universe.
Yeah. What realm am I going to dive into tonight?
What am I going to grow into?
Yeah.
That let me not be bound by the shackles of man-created things and the people that are around me. Let me go a little bit further. So I hope that you continue with it and you don't become totally obsessed by it, but that you are aware of your talent and that you help other people who also have the talent, who are very, very scared, who don't know what to do with it.
Let me close this door. Sprinkler has just gone on. It's still recording there. I have a little bit of PTSD with this thing going. I'm so scared that it shuts off when we carry on and then we lose it. But I think I always one thing that you taught me was balance, and I do that with everything. There's a balance of work, there's a balance of partying, there's a balance of anything. I don't like to, even with information like with coronavirus, I am trained that I take a little bit from here and a little bit from there that makes sense to me, and I form my own opinion on it. And I think that with the spiritual realm, I used to challenge people because obviously I've seen things. No one has to convince me what I believe. I physically have seen things. So my mind will forever be made up. But I enjoy debating with Christian people about it because obviously they need to save me, and I know that that's not a thing. So I would enjoy like debating with them.
This is the falsehood of wanting to save a person.
Yeah, from
it's
what?
It's not saving a person. It is converting a person into their
Yeah.
belief.
Also, what God that
It's
is
not-
so amazing would set you
Buddhism-
up for sin, you know?
Buddhism, I think those guys have actually got it quite close, because they don't really believe in a God, and they believe in spirituality.
Yes.
And they believe in holiness is not a spiritual thing.
No.
It's doing things right.
Raising
being
your
correct.
vibration
It's-
and exposing your vibration to positive things.
And so I think those guys, they live it rather than have an hour
Expressing,
of it
yeah.
at the end of a week to try and clean the crap of the previous week.
Exactly. And
So,
like I don't know if it was in the clip, if we cut it out, but you were saying how like our experience, especially living in Pretoria, was that most of the Christian people I surrounded myself with use Christianity as a form of giving someone else responsibility for their life, so they can kill someone, you know. But as long as they've now been baptized or reformed or whatever, they're a man of God and they can be respected again. You know, you can do anything, but as long as you do this and you believe in God, then there's hope for you. And I think a lot of people abuse that, because I think Christianity at the base of it had good intentions. I think real Christianity had good intentions and had these rules that would help people, guide them through a positive and fulfilling life. But I think people get so obsessed with being right and wrong that it's just turned into something man-made, like you said. And now there's terms and conditions, you know, for being a Christian. You know, you have to go to this, you have to do that, you have to post on Facebook, you have to do that, you know. And that's...
And then it becomes a financial thing. Like the church can only survive if they get money.
Have you seen the churches in Pretoria these days? It's literally like a festival. It's like a stadium with lasers, and it's a party, and there's kids. It's a massive production, which...
But you tell me, who's one of the biggest property owners in the world?
Property owners in the world? I wouldn't know. Who? What, the pastors? The American...
No, the Catholic Church.
The Catholic Church, oh yeah.
Probably the biggest property owner in the world.
Yeah.
Just think of where all the cathedrals and all the churches are, in the center of all the biggest places in the world.
Yeah.
And how many are there? And then if you went down into the catacombs in
Catacombs.
Nostradamus.
Oh yes, yeah.
We took you there, and you saw all the jewels, and they didn't come from France.
That's the thing, you know, like what spirituality holds so much value in jewels or money or do you know what I mean? Spirituality in my mind is supposed to be your connection with yourself, with your inner self, and I like being centered with yourself. And I just don't understand how they put so much value in these massive productions, or how, you know, now there's priests that wear like Nikes on stage and like fully kitted out in Dolce & Gabbana or whatever. Yeah, it's just ridiculous to me. Like, that's, what are you teaching people?
Well, it's all about time and balance. And if the average listenership are wearing Nikes and all fancy clothing, why shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they? They shouldn't be any different. I think those guys on the stage are just trying to guide people to do something a different way, and a way of that particularly religion.
Yeah.
But if you go back in history and you look at all the different religions, I mean, most of the world wars were created by religion.
Yeah. I'm not good with committing to one path. I like kind of being everywhere. I think I always have been. That's why I'm such an airhead. And that's why the same thing when, I mean, you gave us every flippant opportunity we could ever need, playing piano, playing guitar, taking us for golf lessons, and every single one I kind of rejected because as soon as I get too invested in something, I'm like, nah, I'm over it. I want to do it when I want to do it. I don't want to do it because you're telling me I have lessons to do it on a Tuesday and a Thursday, because my mind wasn't telling me that I'm being taught something. It was routine for me, and I don't like routine, and that's why I rejected it. Obviously now as an adult, I'm like, fuck, I should have gone to my golf lessons so I would play a better game. But yeah, when you're a kid like me.
When last did you play?
I went with Riney to the driving range in Cape Town with a couple of our friends. We hit a couple balls. That was nice. Last year.
Long ago.
Yeah, last year. We haven't been in a while.
But you haven't played a round of golf?
No. But you also got to have money to play golf. But I would like to play golf. There's a lot of things now that I want to like be fully in, but I don't know, I have commitment issues.
Like playing guitar?
Like playing guitar.
And like singing?
Yeah, singing, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you're a musical genius. Well, how did you get into singing and your piano? Was Granny did she take you to lessons when you were little?
No, I was forced to take lessons.
What, for piano?
It wasn't my choice at all.
So you tried to do that to me as well?
No. Well, when you're young, I mean, that's how you expose your children to. That's not, they don't know what it is, so they would reject it.
Yeah.
It's you're scared of the dark room, so you don't enter it. But my as I told you, I used to sing at school, and this is with the pre-primary school, primary school, whatever it was. It was sub A, sub B. I grew up in East London in the Cape, so that we didn't have grade 1 and grade 2.
Okay.
And then I sang at these people's wedding, and my father had a buddy at work, Sam Sneed, great guy. And my dad came home. We were all sitting at supper, which I still do today. I still believe today everybody sits at a meal together.
Yeah, it's important to connect.
Yeah, and my dad said, so Uncle Sam's daughter Rosemary is becoming a piano teacher. And so I agreed with him that one of you would take piano lessons and with her, and that she could teach you to play the piano. And
it was you.
Uncle Ian said, bullshit, I'm not doing it. Well, not bullshit, he wouldn't have sweared in front of my parents, never. He said, no, that's not me. And Uncle Brian said, no. And I was busy doing something else, airhead like you. And he said, well, that'll be you. I said, what'll be me? I said, you going for piano lessons.
And now look where you are.
I said, what? But the difference was in where we grew up in East London. Because I went to her for a very, very short time, and I can't remember how long, but I was very, very young. But at school, I went to Miss Morris, was my piano teacher. So we didn't take the piano lessons after school. So it didn't compromise your sports. I could still play tennis and rugby and all that kind of stuff. And the piano lessons was during school, so you would miss one subject like an English and arithmetic and a whatever, so that alternated all the time, so that you could still play your sport in the afternoon.
Oh, that's nice.
So which made a big difference, because I was a sports freak in East London. I was tennis champion, tennis champion.
Yeah.
Check all my trophies in there.
I'll give a little tour of all your trophies, medals.
Yeah, those were the days, eh?
So then you became a traveling musician, and now you're gigging frequently.
Yeah, so with the corporate life, obviously,
How did you
I couldn't play music.
Yeah, but how were you at peace and happy with working for a corporate company for so many years and investing so much of your time to being a good dad and making sure that we had comfort and whatever? Like, I mean, you obviously you put your music on the back end and...
Well, as I said, it's all about timing. I realized a long time, many, many, many years ago, I actually wrote the music and I performed the music for a movie. And when I didn't get paid, it was a documentary where there couldn't be any talking or anything like that. It was the music that had to tell the whole story.
And you did that by yourself?
Yes, and I composed the stuff and I recorded all the instruments in the studios in Johannesburg. And the movie was about the transition between Southwest Africa and Namibia, and all the beautiful spots of Southwest Africa. So they had to flight this documentary all over the world about this country, and there were many documentaries that were shot, and the one that won the Gold Award was ours.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was used, and I never ever got paid for it. And I realized, hang on a moment, the world of music ain't that kind of pure.
Definitely back then as well.
There are very, very, very few people that make a hell of a lot of money or a very good living out of music. So I realized that I always park it and do it for fun, but
that's sad to me because I feel like that's
a family.
And that's so sad to me because I feel like that's obviously your biggest passion.
Well, I missed out in like 25 years at least, maybe 30.
Yeah, where you could have been touring the world and...
No, still that's a world of excess, It's not a very, very real world. It's a very, very lonely world.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
I'm a family man, so I wanted to have a family. I wanted to bring up a family in a home. Not in a suitcase, not out of a caravan or a hotel. So that I managed to do. And now look, it wasn't easy, picking it all up after all those years. Obviously I've been playing the piano and things like that at home, but
playing in a band.
Yeah, because there are a hell of a lot of songs.
Yes.
That you would have been playing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Guys say, what do you mean you don't know that song?
Yeah.
So, well, I've heard it before, but I've never played it. So, you've never played it? How can you never played it?
I was raising a family.
For 30 years I didn't play.
Yeah.
I've only just come back. And when I came back, I did one-man stuff, I did playing in hotels and restaurants and lodge for, lodge for a year or 2 years, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But again, I was because I was unsure of myself playing with bands again. And now I'm playing with a couple of bands that are fun bands, let me put it that way. But I'm having fun.
You're having fun.
I'm having fun.
That's the point of it, is to have fun.
If
you're not having fun doing what you want to be doing, then you're not doing what you want to be doing.
And I'm aware that I'm not that great anymore, because
you're incredible.
Not playing for 25, 30 years,
No, but you're a very talented musician. You know that.
Thank you, my girl.
You are.
But you are my daughter.
I'm not biased, I know. Do you believe in extraterrestrials? I know you do, because you love watching Ancient Aliens late at night. Do you believe we're alone in the universe?
Well, that goes kind of hand in hand with the other spirituality thing, that that there is another level of communication and whatever up there, and if you speak to people who do astral traveling, and believe me, that's very, very real. You've
never astral traveled, have you? You've been trained to?
I No, I haven't been trained to. I don't know that I have. I might have. I don't know that I have, but I'm not at that level that I can consciously switch it on, switch it off. But I've got friends that do.
But anyone can do it. You just need to practice those steps. You have to switch on that light. You know, I'm not special. There's a skeptic today can see what I see or experience what I see. There's steps to open yourself up to opening your third eye and seeing all that shit. But if you're covered by, you know, society and whatever, then it's a lot harder to expose yourself to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and you need to be willing to do it. You need to want to do it, you know. So I mean, I know it's there. I really couldn't be bothered with it, you know. I'm a 65-year-old baby, you know, so...
Have you never had, like, a gnarly experience or, like, a, you know, near-death experience or, I don't know?
No. You know, the brain is a wonderful, wonderful organ. You know, you can train it to shut things out. And as you go through life, you have a lot of successes and you have a lot of failures. And you've got to shut those failures out, because if you feed them, you become a failure.
Yeah.
If you don't feed them, you learn from the failure. And you know, that's what you've got to do. But so a negative experience, what I would term something that I can't control, or being negative, I would shut out.
Are you too scared to?
And you know, when you go through hypnotism and whatever, they bring out all these things that you shut out, you know,
traumas or whatever that you've experienced. Yeah.
But no, I can't. There is one instance that I have, and that is, I remember I was in Richards Bay, and I was down there with a colleague. He was visiting the client, and he asked me to come with him that day. They had some serious issues, and we went there, and I remember, and I can still see it vividly, that I thought it was an aeroplane that had crashed, but and it crashed maybe 200 meters, maybe 300 meters from us, but it was this ball of flames, this thing, and it crashed, and it was so real.
In front of you? You watched it crash in front of you?
Yes. It was absolutely real, and I'm still convinced today, and when I came back...
did you see it, the plane? Like, did you see it crashed?
It was in a forested area. And as I said, it was a couple of 100 meters away. So this whole thing just came, this whole ball of flames just came down and crashed. And for me, it was still very, very real, very strange. That I've lived with that for, I don't know, well...
Do you think it was a UFO? Is that what you're saying?
I think it could have been, yeah.
Why? Did you not see wings of the plane, or what did it look like? Just a ball of flame?
It was a ball of flame. This thing came down, yeah.
And what sort of shape was the flames in? Was it round, or was it elongated?
Courtney, this was probably in about 18 years ago, 20 years ago.
But what gave you the impression that it was a UFO and not an aeroplane?
Because when I came back and I studied the newspapers, and there was nothing.
No airplane crash?
No.
And you guys didn't go to check it out?
No.
Who were you with? Did they get the same vibe, or they were like...
No, this is the weird part. It's it's a very, very strange, you know, when you have strange things happen to you, you forget about them.
Yeah.
But this one
sat with you.
And I've still got it in my brain. And I still remember this guy. We went into this environment with the soil that we were walking on was very, very abrasive to everything. And this guy, he's always got immaculate shoes, always had immaculate shoes, and he wore these fancy shoes that day, and I thought, my God. And I remember the shoes and I remember the scratch. So it's a weird, something very, very weird. And whether he said, no, we're not going to go there, I don't want to go there because I'm wearing these shoes, you know. But it was the sound as well. It wasn't the light, this huge amount of light coming down.
Like white light? Or flame light?
No, flame light. So I think it was I think that was definitely an experience.
Did you get weird vibes? Did you feel weird?
I mean, I still do.
Thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that I think that this was.
And you didn't.
Something like
it
that.
didn't lead to like an experience that night or something when you were at home or anything. You don't remember.
Well, I wasn't home. But I didn't know. I can't remember anything else from it. But that was a catastrophic event. I mean, it really was.
And people were just normal. And you were watching this airplane come down.
Yeah,
And people were just normal. There was no fuss or anything.
this is the strange part. I just can't remember the details of it anymore. But I mean, I've lived with this for a long, long time. Very, very, very weird. But anyway, we go through these.
That is weird. I wish I could have been there to see what you had seen.
Yeah. Me too now.
Oh, we're hitting 50 minutes.
Gee whiskers.
Dad, if I want to end this off, tell me how to deal with my guilt of missing you guys when I'm in Cape Town and feeling like I'm a horrible child because we're so close and I'm so far away from you.
Well, it's very real, so you've got to admit it, number one.
So I'm a horrible child.
Well, you don't know how much your mother cries because she can't see you.
I know. Well, she doesn't know how
Because
much
she
I
can't-
cry because I
because she
can't see
can't
you
hold
guys. I know. That's the thing is the holding. You know, even though I'm comfortable with death and people moving on, physically holding someone is, I'm attached to that feeling. I'm attached to, you know, squeezing you and mom and seeing you in the flesh, and that really keeps me up at night. I mean, most nights, like in Cape Town, to be honest, like it keeps me up thinking about you and mom. I'm either worried that something's happened and then who the fuck am I that I've missed out on like 2 years of spending one-on-one time with you guys, you know?
Look, the vibe in Cape Town, I mean, it's really livable. I can identify with that. You know, I was a young musician and I had a very, very vibrant life, I can assure you that.
I've seen the photos.
No, you ain't seen that.
Is it? Well, that could be another podcast topic then. The life of Royki the Boyki.
But I think it's a safer environment for you down there. Sadly so, that you know you can't just up and leave. You know, we've been in this house for 28, 29 years.
I know. And this is home and the people are here.
This is home for a lot of people. You don't understand how many people.
No, I do.
This is this Happy Valley Motel.
That's what people
You know,
call it.
there are a lot of people who've slept in under these roofs.
I know.
So it's not something that you can get rid of very, very quickly. I mean, the only thing that you can do is make sure you keep in contact. You know, we do speak to you, I think, normally at least once a day. And you've got to make sure that you are available for contact and to be in contact. That's all.
Yeah, well, I think you probably are under the impression that I just am living my best life and I don't have time for you guys, when the reality is that I'm always thinking about you guys and missing you and wanting to. It's hard seeing you guys do things here and I'm not a part of it.
Sure, but I mean, that's our life, and that was your choice.
It was.
And now you've made your choice, now you've got to make it work. So you mustn't be thinking of us, you must be creating. You know, if you're not creating, you're dying. So you've got to be creating every day, not just sitting there thinking, oh, what are they doing up there? I wish I was. No, start creating, even if it's picking up a guitar and just playing a couple of chords. That'll help you to be a better guitarist. If you do that every day, you know, you'll be taking a guitar with you wherever you go.
I know. But we just have to make a pact that if I die first or if you die first, that we haunt each other until the other one dies.
Yeah, well, I've told you where I am if you're in Cape Town.
Well, on the mountain.
I'm on the mountain
I
there. You know, I'm watching over you. But Cape Town's a very, very beautiful city.
Where I live, it's like a mini Europe.
Yes.
And my life is very much holiday lifestyle. You go to work, you finish work early.
It's not a South African normal neighborhood that you're living in.
No, it is. It's living. I finish work, you know, and I go to the beach or I go for a skate, and I have these crazy fucking views everywhere around me, and it's, you know, I'm not over Cape Town. I still, every time you go to the sea, I'm sitting out the window like a little puppy, or I'm looking at the mountains and just taking it all in. And you taught me that first time I went to Portugal as well, and I said to you, I can't believe when I'm looking at it, and you said to me, you have to take a mental photograph every time you have, and I do that. Most people think like meditating is like sitting like this and trying not to think about anything, but I think I meditate all the time, because you'll always catch me outside staring at whatever's around me and really taking it in, because I think about what you said. Like, you know, when you're feeling something, when you're around a beautiful environment, just take a snapshot of it and keep it with you. So yeah, you've taught me a lot of good life hacks.
How did you get street smart?
I'm might be an airhead in life, but I am very aware of my surroundings, and I'm always alert. So, I mean, I don't think that that's a thing that you would have to. I would never put myself in a dangerous position, and I've been in many positions before. As you know, we enjoy DJing and whatever, or going to parties and stuff, and in those environments themselves, there's a lot of druggies that are on coke or cat or whatever. I've had best friends that are addicted to drugs, and I think that also molded me, because I know what it does, and I've seen it for myself, so I wouldn't put myself in that position. Whereas someone that's maybe so secure and safe, the first exposure that they have to it, they'll probably be like, oh, what is that, you know? And because I've seen friends deteriorating, I've seen friends, you know, rising, I know myself, and I know what's wrong and but there is nothing wrong and there's nothing right. I just know, you know, that I'm not going to go down that path. Doesn't make sense.
That's good. You've got to have that.
That being said, I do believe in.
You've got to have the inner metal.
I do believe in the benefits of natural grown psychedelics, like mushrooms and all the natural stuff. I believe that they're healing, because there's studies that prove it.
And cannabis.
Which I've done for my migraines. I was as a 16-year-old girl, I was prescribed antidepressants and heart pressure tablets. Is it heart pressure tablets?
Blood pressure tablets.
Blood pressure tablets.
That thing's gone off.
That's fine. For migraines, which never helped me. And then suddenly I try cannabis oil and I don't get them anymore. And it's illegal. That to me showed me that the government is full of shit, you know. Would you rather? How many deaths are there of people smoking weed? How many deaths are there of people drinking alcohol? Which one's legal? You know, you get drunk, you abuse your wife, you crash your car, you kill a whole family. You get high and you're driving 20 on a highway, like because you're too scared and paranoid to do anything crazy. It's ridiculous. And that's also the thing about like the government and control and religion and all that shit. What kind of God is gonna give you a mushroom that has these benefits to open your mind and show you everything that we have just spoken about? And that's a sin. There is no sin, you know. There's conscious good decisions, and I think every human has every right to do whatever they want to do to get to their form of enlightenment. And I don't think being a drug addict is right, but I think that if they were a drug addict in their lifetime, then that's what they needed to learn for this specific lifetime. Because next lifetime they come back, they learn new lessons. Maybe it's how to be fully creative in this lifetime. Do you know what I mean? You can't say anyone has made, like, you can judge their decisions, but I can't say that you fucked up. Roy van der Walt fucked up at this period. How can I say that? I've never lived your life. I haven't seen the shit you've seen. I didn't live with the same parents. I wasn't raised in the same environment. Every decision you make in your life is right for you because it's going to take you to a new step. And no one can say that it's wrong because they might be able to advise if they've come from a similar background. But no one's thought everything you've thought. No one's seen everything that you've seen. They haven't felt everything you've felt.
Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong.
No, exactly. Like, it's all relative, you know? And I think that's the balance thing is you can wonder what's there. You can experiment with what's there. But you're supposed to be on Earth in this realm as a human in a meat body for a purpose. So you might as well see what that purpose is and not try to escape it for now. You know?
Face it.
Yeah, face it. Do you want to
have a cup of coffee?
Yeah, and give me one piece of profound life advice to end this podcast off. If you could give me one thing, what is it?
Have a sense of humor.
Have a sense of humor. Why? Because life fucks everyone up.
Because that gives you the balance. If you've got a sense of humor, you can realize what the balance is.
Not take everything so seriously.
Not get absolutely whipped up. And tell people no more frequently.
Yeah, boundaries.
Absolutely. Who is this famous lady star? That lady portrayed the Queen. She said, I wish I'd told more people to fuck off a lot earlier.
Yeah. That list you sent me was also brilliant from your friend.
Okay, yeah, but they're saying no. Saying no. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can be in personal environment, that can be in friend environment, that can be in work environment, that can be wherever. I'm saying. My answer is no.
Yeah. And be okay with that.
Yes, and to yourself.
Yeah.
When you are, because the most difficult decisions are that when you're going to decide between right and right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right and right.
Which one do I go with?
Yeah. Which right is going to be right for me at this period?
Those are the difficult decisions.
Yeah.
When you're going to decide between right and right.
Yeah.
And you're going to say to yourself, no.
Yeah.
There's the road, and from here, no. You're going to say no more frequently and more easily and be comfortable with it. And not no. But for you, it's a kind of, no is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that you get when you get older.
Yeah. You give less. You run out of fucks to give for people.
Not interested. I said no.
Yeah.
That's it. And which can be problematic in the work environment, because you need that balance. You need to know.
Yeah, well, you don't want to abuse the no as well.
Yes.
You know, don't be full of shit.
But you've got to be comfortable with your decisions, the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
And your sense of being, your sense of right and wrong, you've got, you have it. So you should be comfortable with saying no.
Yeah, you're right. I need to live by that. Well, thank you for joining me on the Fluffy Podcast, Dad. I miss you all the time, and I want to take you back with me. And yeah, I'm very...
Feed the positive voice. Don't feed the negative voice. Grow the positive voice. Don't grow the negative voice.
I know. I try. Oh. I love you.
Love you too.
And I miss you all the time.
But we know you enjoy yourself. So.
Thank you for the Fluffy Podcast, Rocky. That was fun.
Okay, now fuck off.
Oh, God. That was good, Daddy.